Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I'm going to be teaching you how to run your very first Facebook or Instagram ad. I'm going to be walking you through what campaigns to choose, what's the difference between a campaign and an ad set and an ad, and give you a full-blown tutorial of how to run your first ad even if you have no experience. So let's get into it. So I've broken this down into 3 simple steps. So basically we have a campaign, right? And I've also kind of visually created this diagram here. So we have a campaign, right? And within Facebook, this is where we choose our objective. So we tell Facebook, what we want it to optimize for. Then we have our ad sets. This is a culmination of the demographics that we're targeting, the ages, the placement, and the budget. And then we also have our ads. So our ads are our creatives, what we write in the ad, the photo, the video, all of that stuff is within the ad. So that's real simply how it works. So what we're going to do here is we go to our business.facebook.com account, and you can create a simple business manager account for free. And if you don't have a business manager account, everyone gets a personal account with a Facebook account. So you can just Google Ads Manager, and it should take you right to your Facebook Ads Manager, where it takes you to your personal account, so you can kind of see how this works. So basically, the first step is just to go to the Create button, right? And you can see here's the campaign, which is kind of what I called here. And that would be what type of traffic we're going for too. Then we'd have our ad set. So we have ad sets here. And then we have our ads. So these are our ads that go, inside of the ad sets. So what we're going to do is click create. And I'm just going to talk about each one of these different campaigns that I personally use. There are some that I don't really ever use and have never used, like store traffic or catalog sales. Even reach or brand awareness, I don't really ever use those, but I know how you can use the reach. So anyway, what I've used, right, the main ones that I use are going to be conversions. Conversions are kind of like the best one. If you really know what you're doing and you get a little bit more advanced, conversions are really where Facebook can optimize for a deeper funnel metric, right? So let's just say that you have an e-commerce store, and when somebody purchases your product, that's the ultimate North Star, right? Somebody buying your product and actually giving you money in exchange for your product, right? And you making a profit. So we can actually, Facebook can actually track that as a conversion. And so because it has such, a metric that's so deep in the funnel, it can then find other individuals that have taken that same action, either on similar stores or similar ads. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into it when it comes to how they do this. But conversions is the main one that we use for our clients, because we build surveys, we build funnels, and we take leads through a very unique process. And so, we're optimizing for that automated booked appointment. And so if we can tell Facebook, hey, this is the event that we're optimizing for, it knows that, okay, cool, we need more people to, that we want more people that are going to book an appointment. So we're going to go with the conversions, right? So I can show you inside the conversions campaign and just kind of show you how this works. So basically, we have our conversion event location. So we would just choose our pixel, and then we have our event. So the event is what I was mentioning earlier, where let's say somebody lands on a booking page, right? After they filled out a survey, that means they're a lead, right? And let's say after they book their appointment, it takes them to a thank you page. If they fill out that, booking page and they're on the thank you page, this event will then fire, right? And it will tell Facebook, hey, this is somebody just completed this event. Let's go find more people that, take this same action, right? So we would choose in, 99% of cases, we're going to choose a lead conversion event. And then if we're retargeting or something like that, we would go for just a schedule, and we would be sending those people straight to the schedule page, right? So that's how the conversion objective works. You can do some stuff within Messenger with conversion, which I haven't, but that's really the main difference here between a conversion campaign, is going to be that little part right there. So the next part or the next campaign objective that we use pretty often is going to be lead generation. And this is the perfect method if you're starting out, you don't see yourself being a full-time, digital marketer, and you want to get some results for your business. I've actually spent a lot of time thinking about this particular type of campaign as it relates to the conversion campaign, because I think it was back in 2021 or maybe late 2020 where Facebook and the iOS agreement about tracking people offline kind of got put into place. And so basically, we even see it to this day, just a difference in performance with campaigns. You can still get the same performance, but there's a lot of different things you kind of have to do to, optimize the campaign. And so the reason I've spent a lot of time thinking about this lead generation campaign is because this basically, the only difference here between the lead generation and the conversion is that you're not necessarily optimizing for a deep funnel metric, right? So, and I think they even show you how this kind of works here. If you go to the setting down here, they have a little thing that I was recently looking at. So it's optimization for ad delivery. So if we go to leads, you'll see leads, and then there's conversion leads, right? So you could almost imagine that this, default leads feature is kind of like, gonna find basically people that are at the top of the funnel just taking some sort of action, right? Let's say that we could make, an example of like a storefront, right? So let's just say that 1,000 people go into a store every day, right? And let's just say that Facebook sees those 1,000 people as a lead, right? So let's just say that we tell Facebook, hey, we want 1,000 leads, or we want more leads, right? So then Facebook will do a really great job of going out, getting more people to go into the store, but do they actually buy and do they actually convert? That's where, I've kind of spent a lot of time thinking about these types of campaigns. So with a conversion lead, right, or a conversion campaign, you would basically be saying, hey, Facebook, these are all the people that purchased products, right? The best products that we have, the most profitable, and let's just say it's 80-20, right? 20% of the customers or people that came into the store contributed to 80% of the sales. We want to find those people that are taking those actions, and maybe up front it costs a little bit more, but we want to find those people, right? So I've spent a lot of time thinking about this because, real estate is a sales and kind of service-based industry, right? So when you're running an online store or an e-commerce store, conversion is pretty much the only objective you're going to ever choose, unless you're doing some brand awareness stuff first. But in the majority of cases, you're going to only choose conversion, right? And so I've spent a lot of time thinking about this because the cool thing about the lead feature, right, within Facebook is that you don't really have to worry about is it going to get new leads, right? Because everything that the data that Facebook is gathering for this lead, right, is pretty much perfectly tracked because it's within their platform, right? So when you actually look at it, right, when you take someone off of Facebook now, they don't have perfect tracking, and there's a lot of stuff that I think they're wishing they had in place that they don't with this new change. And so basically what's cool about it is that, you never really have to worry about the campaign. I mean, you have to still design the campaign well. You have to have the right budget. You have to, make sure that you know what you're doing to some extent. But the reality is, I mean, we've seen lead generation, which would be like an instant form campaign. They can run for months and months on end, and you never really have to worry about, changing the campaign or doing, anything like special to the campaign because, Facebook's got 100% precision. It's going for people more top of the funnel in most cases. It doesn't mean that it can't get people that are, more bottom funnel or mid funnel. It kind of depends to your targeting, if you're retargeting or whatever. But, it's a super interesting thing because, like somebody could run a conversion campaign, right? And they would spend $50 to $100 or even more per lead potentially, depending on what they're doing. But, if they're not following up, if they're not, available to respond to the leads or whatever it is, it doesn't necessarily convert higher, right? It doesn't outweigh the benefit of just consistent, predictable lead generation, plug-and-play systems where you don't really ever have to worry about changing the campaign or making new adjustments. When we run conversion campaigns, which is, at this point all we do with investors, you have to watch what you're doing. You can't just let it go and say, okay, cool, this is just going to work. You got to actually actively and proactively manage the campaign, look for why things aren't working the way that you want them to be, versus if you just ran a lead form, it's pretty much you're going to hit leads and get leads every single day if you have the budget and if you have the right ad. So it's an interesting way to look at it, especially if you're, maybe a little bit further along in your journey of running ads or thinking about putting a system in place for you, because it just kind of depends on what you're optimizing for, right? And the other interesting thing here with the lead generation campaign is that now with all the automation and SMS and these different things that we have the ability to build within our software, it kind of makes me wonder, hey, what outweighs, what's the actual like benefit of these conversion campaigns if, you have to manage them, you have to kind of worry about, what the campaign's going to do, you have to check things, you have to always be kind of in the know when it comes to like the ad, the image, the targeting, and all these different things versus, hey, we're going to plug in a system that's going to consistently get you leads. The overall quality of the lead may go down in relation to a conversion campaign, but you're going to always have leads coming in, and you're also going to always have automated SMS and email. So I've spent a lot of time thinking about this stuff. So if you are kind of just getting rolling into this and you're an agent or something like that, I really would recommend this lead form strategy because you don't really have to think about it at all once you run it, right? So once you set that up, Facebook has perfect data around who clicked it, who opened it, who submitted it. And so it's always going to be able to learn, okay, cool, find more people like that, cool, find more people like that, cool, find more people like that. And so, if you're not see yourself spending time managing the campaign, learning all these different things, then, lead form is going to be your best bet. And like I said, I've spent a lot of time figuring this stuff out. And I would recommend, like I said, instant forms. I wouldn't really mess with the automated chat or the calls. The best thing to do, and I'm telling you, as you look back, you'll probably wish you invested more, is just get people's information, get them off the platform, build your database, and, focus more on content, focus more on, building your YouTube channel and sending those people content that's relevant to them. Because like I said, this is why I think about this stuff a lot. If you think about one campaign, two campaigns going head to head, right? And you have one conversion, one lead form, and somebody was just conversion based, and they were just wanting to get the highest quality leads up front, and they wanted to just convert those leads, like one call close, like the perfect ideal lead, right? You get them on one call, they're ready, they sell their house, they list, the perfect storm, right? And then you compare that to somebody that's just getting leads consistently every day, and they've got automation, they've got all these other things, and it's maybe more of a longer term approach, right? They're not going to get every lead is going to be immediately ready to go right then and there. But now they don't have to worry about the campaign. They don't have to think about managing it, right? Maybe there's a little bit of stuff they can do to it, but in general, it's just running consistently. They don't have to worry about it. And then they can focus on the other components, which, in my opinion, the biggest thing is going to be building your asset library of content, right? This is why I'm making these videos for you guys, because if you're a new lead, right, that inquired in our system or a challenge or whatever it is, and you can go watch 20 hours of content where I'm teaching how this stuff works, how to think about it, how I've thought about it, that's going to give you the ability to kind of build some trust and just actually kind of see, oh, this is how this guy is, I kind of like this approach. And so that's kind of really what I've been thinking about, is like, instead of us having to manage these campaigns and change all these things, where in reality it may or may not even make a net difference, right? A net difference in terms of just consistently talking to people and seeing where the opportunity lies, adding some automation and allowing our clients to focus on like the content part of it. Yeah, it's been an interesting thought. So I'll leave it there in terms of these two main objectives. I would say if you're in real estate, those are pretty much going to be the main two as it relates to lead gen. I'll get into the others here now. So the other one that I've used is engagement and messages. Sometimes video views too, but I found that engagement just kind of creates the same thing as the video views, but technically, video views will find people that are more likely to watch the video. So there's all these little, flaws within each of them, because none of it's perfect, right? You start going for leads and they're top of the funnel leads, right? But now you have consistency. You go for conversions, now you got to manage the campaign, and just due to the nature of real estate, not every lead is even going to be an amazing lead just because they go off on a landing page, right? So it's just kind of one of those things. So with engagement, I found the benefit to this is that you'll get like more social proof, like likes and comments, and you'll still be able to get video views. And then with video views, you may get 10,000 views on a video, but no one likes it. So I feel like it doesn't really look like anyone's watching it, right? So you have to imagine each one of these objectives, it's like you're telling the system who to find, and it's going to optimize based on just one of these objectives, right? So with engagement, right, what's cool about this is that one of the things that we've done is you can do it a few different ways, right? But let's just say that you want to show people like a video, right? So let's say that it's like cold traffic, for example. So let's say you're running your very first campaign and you want to show people like a 15-second video about you, and just real quick, right? Kind of like brand awareness in a way. You can use that as an engagement ad here, set your budget. You're going to reach a lot more people than a conversion campaign. You can see the difference here. If we go to conversions, you'll see that number should change. So it went from 482 to 1.4. And then when you go to engagement, it's going to start at like 1.4 with the same budget, or 1.3. So you're going to reach more people, right? Because I would definitely say that the engagement campaign objective, the like traffic engagement, and even these brand awareness and reach and really any one of these are just going to get people that are higher up into the funnel, right? And so that's why there's kind of a discrepancy between, lead gen and conversions, because you're just going to get more people just in general. And so with engagement, you're going to reach more people because there's not really any sort of qualifying filter that people have to go through. If they click a like, then that's a win to this campaign, right? They click comment, that's a like, or that's a win, right? If they watch it for 10, 15 seconds, that's a win, right? So versus taking them to a landing page, having them put in their address, having them put in their name, email, phone number, answering a full survey, booking an appointment, you're not looking for just somebody that can just fill out or just click a like, right? So with engagement, what you can do is you can run a little video ad, right? And just, put 30, 40 bucks on it, and you'll start to see, people will engage with it. You'll get some views, you'll get some comments, stuff like that, if it's good. And then what you can do is you can use one of these other objectives like lead gen or conversions to retarget those people and get them into like your sales process. But in my personal experience, these different types of campaigns are seemingly, they look good, like in terms of like, oh, we're getting views and stuff. But if you're in the ads manager and you're wanting to create ads and a sales system, right, it's all about conversion at the end of the day. You can do it however you want and kind of dress it up however you want. But, you're not going to just spend millions of dollars a year just to get famous if there's no sort of like financial gain, right? You may, it may not be directly from the ad, it may be from brand deals or other things like that. But if you're, investing money, you need some sort of return in some way, right? So the reason I say that is because, yeah, the engagement's cool, and, the traffic and stuff, you can kind of make it, look like a certain way. I'm getting, dollar clicks or 20-cent clicks or whatever it is, but these are going to be your main hitters, your lead gen and conversion, and even potentially messages if you do it right. I'll talk a little bit about how you can do that right. But, like I said, unless you're hiring an agency and they're doing something for you, where they're able to manage this stuff well, then I would really just, like, 90% of you just need to do this and figure out ways to kind of automate kind of the unqualified people. Because once you open this up and this stuff up, it becomes a whole thing, right? But I still have a traditional part of me that believes that, just talking to people consistently, not overcomplicating the process, and yes, building in some newer fundamental things like videos and YouTube assets that people can watch. I really believe that it can be very, very simple and very profitable as well. One of our clients, and it actually blew my mind, and this is just me being transparent, telling you a story, but, basically in 2019, we designed this entire funnel, which works really, really well if you have the budget for it and the ad spend, and you can go watch this case study if you want. It's a little fast-paced now that I look back on it, but basically 2 years ago we built this entire, it's called a VSL in marketing. It's like a 4-step funnel, and basically we built this for one of our clients, and we were able to get them 224 booked appointments in 90 days. And we created like a full video kind of, just edifying them and really like making it an awesome process. And you can see in the case study, you can go ahead and look at all the actual videos. I can show you here. Feel free to put in a fake email if you want. Let me mute this. But basically, you can see here all the book calls and stuff. But the reason I say this story, right, is because we spent a lot of money on ads, and you can actually see here just how crazy. I mean, it really, really worked from the marketing standpoint, like really, really worked. Like that was probably the best system that I've ever made just because they had the budget and they were really all in on it. You can see just one campaign had like $4,000 on it, but we were getting 117 booked appointments for $33, right? So, the reason I say this though is because, we got 90 booked appointments, and, these clients were busy. They had other stuff that they were doing. And so they weren't even really able to take all the calls, right? We were getting their credit score, we were getting their income, and it was for buyers, right? And this is how the system looks. But it's funny because we did all that, right, and built this huge thing. It was a multi-5-figure investment they made into us, and also all the ads. Like, it was a huge project. But what's funny is that that was in 2019, I think 2020, beginning of 2020, or no, I think it was 2019. But anyway, we did this whole thing. We got them 90 booked appointments. It was like, literally, it was just every day. I think there's on the video, he's like, dude, we got 8 booked calls today. Like, it was just flowing in there, right? Automation, all this amazing stuff. And I don't even think they ever closed any deals from it, just because, like I said, they were getting 8 book calls per day. And to most agents, right, that's not really how real estate works. Most agents aren't just booked out from Monday to Friday, 9 to 7 p.m. on the phone with potential buyers and sellers, just systematically, right? So it was almost like not too good for real estate, but it wasn't really understood how to actually do this, right? Because I took this from the internet world and internet marketing. So all kinds of, course creators and stuff like that, they know, how to take calls, and just like, they're used to it, right? And now after, 2020 and 2021, what kind of happened, people are more accustomed to Zoom and stuff like that. But at the time, it was just kind of like foreign. They're showing houses, they're going to appointments, and these people are just booking on the calendar. And so they weren't really able to kind of use the system the way that it's intended to use. And so the null point of it is that no one even converted, and I don't even know how many calls they actually took. But the point is, we did all that, right? Spent multi-5 figures on us, multi-5 figures on ads, made videos, the whole thing. And then I remember talking to one of my clients, Casey, and he basically had this little campaign running that I taught, this little lead form that I taught back in like 2018 or early 2019 maybe. And he had it running for, literally like a year and a half or 2 years. And he was spending like $5 a day. So whatever that math is, like he had it, I think he had multiple, but the point is, it was literally $5 a day. And every day he'd get 1-2 leads every day. And he basically turned $680 into like $60,000 of commissions. And, it took time, and there was follow-up and stuff, but like, I found that to be so cool, because here I was making this whole process, which is super dope. And if, you have the money to do it, and you have the brand and stuff, then yeah, I would still recommend it. It's a lot more, I think now in 2022, it's different. But I just remember thinking, this guy never had to touch the ad, never had to touch the campaign, just let it run for whatever that, yeah, it looks like it was only running for like 136 days. But yeah, because I remember he had spent $682, and I have the screenshot somewhere. But yeah, it was just crazy. So the reason I tell you that long-winded story is that, you can go build whatever you want, but if you're still missing the fundamentals of actually taking the calls and being very, very systematic, or having somebody that can take the calls and follow a proven process, you could have all the ad spend in the world, you could have all the marketing, you could have the best people managing it, and it still won't work. So that's kind of a long-winded way to say that if you don't want to have to worry about it and just kind of trust in the overall numbers, then I would just go here and kind of forget all the rest. I wouldn't even worry about engagement or stuff like that. Just get people into your sales process, get people that you can talk to, and just kind of trust the numbers, and just don't change the campaign and do all that stuff, because just let it run, stay consistent, and you will literally, he was getting clients for basically $200, right? He sold one of their properties, and then they needed to buy, et cetera, right? So with $200, imagine here in California, it's like he was making, basically like 17 grand per client to $200 to 17 grand. It's insane. So I would focus here, but I do want to touch on messages, just because this can be another way to get some good leads, just because people are prone to messaging, right? People like to message, and people are comfortable with it. In the same way that you're going to get a top of the funnel lead here, because all they got to do is click message, and Facebook basically marks it as a message, right? So what you can do is, I built an entire system on ManyChat, and ManyChat's just like a messaging automation tool. And I think I still have all the stuff that I built, but a lot of people kind of found out about me from there. It was called Q the Real Estate Bot. But basically, I just created a set of like qualification questions, and those questions basically qualified that. I think you can see it right here. So you could see I built this little thing. So when they message, it basically takes them through this entire funnel. And so then if they come out at the end of here, you basically have this full-blown survey where, you're seeing how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, when are they looking to buy, what's their price range, do they currently rent or own, have you been pre-approved, all that stuff. So you're not just getting a lead, right? You're getting an automated kind of chat bot to qualify them. So if you have something like this, then I would recommend messages. It could be a good part of your strategy, but just keep in mind you're going to have to field all those messages. And, in my experience, the reason we kind of pivoted away from messages is just because it would be way better to just get their name, email, phone number, and then if you want to take them into a messenger funnel where maybe it just has one quick question or something like that, or two, that's going to be better because you're getting a clean-cut lead, right? Name, email, phone number, and then you're taking them into a conversation, but you can still call them, you can still text them, you can do a voicemail drop, because, if you have 1,000 people in your messenger and you don't have any of their phone numbers, if something changes within the platform, which it's always bound to, you're not going to really have a way to contact them. So they already changed around some of these, like the things that you had the ability to do before. You used to be able to like message people after, weeks and weeks, but now they have to have engaged with you. And so there's all these limitations now. And so, I would recommend, like I said, you can combine these methods, but you just got to know how to do it, where you can go for the leads and then link them into your messenger, your IG or your Facebook Messenger, have a few quick questions to talk to them, and then maybe set up an appointment there. But you could still text them, you could still call them, and you're getting a clean cut lead. You don't have to worry about, oh, somebody clicked message, but I don't have their info, and now you're going back and forth, right? So leverage the automation, leverage the technology, and just go with this, lead generation type campaign. And, if you get really more advanced and you start to learn how to do this stuff, then you can kind of move your way into these other things. But I actually heard a really cool thing the other day called Occam's razor, and I just found it really cool. So maybe you guys can check it out. But basically, it's like a principle or a philosophy that, basically that the simplest solution is often the best one. And, the way to explain it in this specific example is that there's definitely more complex ways to get leads, right? You can take people through a funnel, and I can show you guys like our funnels that we take leads through. This is for investors, so we gotta the lead has to we gotta build this survey, right? We gotta link the survey to our CRM. The lead's gotta fill this stuff out, right? Which is cool. They gotta enter their address and these other questions, right? But can you go $600 in 6 days and then get no leads? Not everyone can do that, right? Not everyone can afford that. Not everyone can deal with that psychologically, right? So we have clients that are in a different position per se that can do that type of stuff. So I kind of just wanted to share this little philosophy or rule with you that, yeah, the simplest solution's often the best one because you don't reason beyond, kind of beyond necessary, right? If you start thinking that you need a funnel, you need videos, you need all these other things, it kind of complicates what you have to do versus if I tell you, hey, you can get an ad and you can get leads and a plug and play system, in 1 hour just with a simple tutorial, pick your template, plug and play, and now you're being efficient because you have the most simple solution available to you in the moment, right? But once you start to think, okay, I need to make videos, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do all these other things, it starts to get real complicated. But here it's like there's pretty much one goal, which is conversion, to actually get leads that, end up buying or selling with you. So get their contact information. They did inquire at some level and, build out the other stuff on the back end. Like build your YouTube channel, start sending them automated texts and emails to that content, right? And then you're not complicating it up front. You can have it a little more complicated with stuff you can control, right? You can make the video and, upload it and send people to it. But if you're trying to do all this stuff up front, and I tell you because this is what I do for, I wouldn't say for a living, this is just what I do. And yeah, if you're not really ready to dive into all this stuff, keep it simple and just keep it on Facebook and leverage the technology that you have. So check out my other videos. I do teach you how to use lead forms, show you how to set up the campaigns, show you how to retarget. I think retargeting is cool and it's simple the way I teach it. And then just on the back end, build those assets, build content teaching about buying a home and selling a home. And that is going to really be the biggest way to impact leads over a long term versus just trying to, get them up front and, do all these different complicated things. So that is a little comparison of all the different campaign types on Facebook. And I know I didn't say anything about Instagram, but the only way to kind of change this on Instagram is you just, go to your manual placements and you can remove Facebook and stuff. So same kind of everything still applies. If you want to put it on Instagram, you can just uncheck these other locations and you can run a conversion ad on Instagram and you can run a conversion ad on Facebook only, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully that was beneficial for you if you're thinking about running your first ad or you've already ran some ads and you're curious my take. I've invested about $500,000 in ad spend between all of our clients over these last 5-6 years. Right now we're managing, I think, $15,000 to $20,000 per month. So by the end of the year, I'll have another $250,000, probably more, stacked up in ad spend. So this is kind of the information I'm sharing with you guys to simplify it. And hopefully it found you well. So go ahead, give this video a like, Go ahead and subscribe as well if you want to see more of these videos, and let me know in the comments what you think. All right, I hope it finds you well. Bye-bye.